Good afternoon. We're back here with TV's Kevin. I want to apologize about part 7. It failed. Had some problem with that, but it's no big deal. It's a short segment. It wasn't really, you didn't miss that much. I'm on part 9 now that I've started on my brother-in-law's survival knife, 20th century survival knife. It's got a 6-inch blade, and then of course overall is 10 inches. It's about a quarter inch shorter roughly than my knife, than what my other knife was, but it's still a good one. Here it is. It'll skin, it'll cut, and do just about the same thing. This was made out of a Poulin lawnmower blade that my friend Jesse James had on his new mower, and he bent the crud out of it. Yep, I could have fixed it for him, but he just said he was going to get a new one, said I could have it, so shoot, I just took it over. It's good carbon steel. When I rehardened it, this thing is, I mean, it's seriously hard. I couldn't hardly drill these holes in the corners of the handle, the tang. I was trying to keep it from, so it wouldn't split there, but at the angle I came to it on, I don't think it'll ever break there. It's pretty strong. I think it'd take a lot to break that carbon steel. And here's the other half of the blade. I still got enough to do another one, or a couple of smaller survival knives. But anyway, that's what I call them, survival knife, bush knife. You know, just these are not, you know, what you might get from a professional craftsman. Although the blade is tempered pretty much, the steel is tempered the same. I just haven't done, you know, I just don't go to the excess pains of really working the metal all the way down like it's, you know, on fancying it up wise. Now, as far as it being razor sharp, it is, and it will do the job. I make my knives for that purpose, for working and using with it. I don't really make them very, very fancy. Notice how this one, every one of my survival knives will come out a little different shape here because of whatever handle or tang I'm working out at that I have to work with. That's what it will come out as. I look at it. I do not lay a pattern out and make these. I make these by eyeball, folks. This one here had an angle like this on the other end. It was the opposite of this. And here was the problem. I had that crazy cut off piece there. So I had to come in here, and what I did, I just went from that point and angled it down to fit the pattern. I'm not going to lay that. Well, I will just show you. I can clean the knife up again. It's not a big deal. I need to get that oil off that oven. But they're both pieces of steel. I'm going to take this oven back out and reharden it again another day to be sure that the other half is hard. I imagine it is, but as you can see, they're both about the same length when you work them out. Now, I just draw this angle here out, bing, and then I just, with this in here, I just eyeballed it. From that point, got as straight angle as I could, and I took a chalk, is how I done it. I have a piece of chalk laying here somewhere. And I just marked that line out there so I could see it, and I cut it out how I wanted it, and then this angle here too. I drilled 2 holes, but they wouldn't go all the way through. My bits are just not. I went and bought new bits, and they still wouldn't go through that hardened steel. So I'm going to have to get me some sharper steel bits. These were for wood, and the ones I bought here were for wood and steel. I do have a couple of big holes there already in it, but I don't want to use them for the pinning part. I may, because my dowel is only a quarter inch around, and this dowel here, as you can see, that would probably be 3/8. You get up here and make sure you're seeing this. These holes were already in the lawnmower center of the lawnmower blade. And the other time when I made my blade, my handle, it was out at the tip because the tip was already wore off and small anyway on the other 2. But this one here was off of a push mower, Poulin. I do not like Poulin mowers that well. They'll work, yeah. I'm not crazy about them personally. They're cheaper than others, yeah. But you get what you pay for. You see, I was in the lawn and service business for 9 years. And out of all of them, unless it's John Deere, I like the Craftsman the best. Even over some John Deere's. They were dependable, my Craftsman were, for commercial mowing. And even though it was a household or 15.5 horsepower, it'll cut just about what my 22 horsepower on my Troy would cut. Well, it can do the same thing I'm doing with this. Cut high grass. But anyway, what I'm doing here, I want to show you. I'm working down my brother-in-law's handle for his knife now. I am going to see how I like this knife, and I'm also going to go ahead and finish the other one. And one of these I'm going to give to him. It may be this one. This one seems like this is the one I originally was making for him. But as you can see, your handle fit perfect right there. Check. Let me get over here. You can't see. I apologize for that. See there? This I've made one half of the handle. It's got to come down some more. See, it's too thick. By the time you get another half on the other side, it's going to be too thick. So I'm going to have to keep rasping this one down because I don't have a table saw or anything like that to cut it even straight. If I could probably just split this one down and use the two halves off it, possibly. Now, I don't think that'd work. But anyway, I've always just whittled them down and rasped them down to fit like this right here when I put a handle on something of this nature. Now what I've done, I've tried to rasp the wood down to fit the handle, the metal on this, and I came past the hole here on purpose. I didn't have to with this side of the wood, but I did it on purpose. See what I'm talking about? It comes past the hole. There's a hole right there, and I wanted to cover that. So I came up to about here with it, and that's what we have. Of course, I can't that's what I'm talking about. It's a hickory handle, folks. I'm working on hickory. I left him a teardrop. It's kind of a little bit longer than your hand, but that's all right. And when I rasp the corners off and smooth it up, what I'll have to do is get a belt sander tomorrow. I don't have a sander of any type at the moment that's any good, except sand by hand, and I'd rather get a belt sander so I can take this on down. I'm going to rasp it as far as I can, and then I'll get a belt sander, and then I'll take and show you what I've got here. I did not go buy hickory wood. This come out of my wood split, and I split this out as straight as I could, about, I guess an inch thick on the back, so you can see. Then I just drawed it out in there and cut it out. Actually, it went this way. As you can see, I had to cut that out, and I cut it out with this what you call a reciprocating saw skill, and it'll cut it out. It did pretty good, but I would have much rather actually, if I had a choice, had a table saw, not a table saw, but a band saw. A band saw, you can cut your pattern so much neat. See, I did not draw a pattern for this handle, nor did I do that for the knife. I eyeballed it out how I thought I wanted it to look for a survival knife. Now, if I was being fancy about it, I would have took the tape measure and laid out a tape measure and went to all that trouble. In the bush, you're not going to have that much time. Plus, I'll tell you something else. You're probably not going to have any power tools whatsoever. If you're lucky enough to have hand tools, you're probably going to be doing good. In the bush, I will show you what I did to my knives right quick, just so you will know if it's still recording. Yep. Alright, what did I do with his knife here? I had it here a second ago. I know it's laying here somewhere. Here it is. In the bush, sometimes I'd tie a wood handle on it, but most of the time I didn't. What I had to work with was some twine or rope, and I'm fixing to get some. For a demonstration here, show you what. Just a piece of twine. Any kind of rope will work if you don't have no handle when you make the blade. I didn't have blades this heavy in the bush. I was lucky to find any thin metal to cut with sometimes. And I made my knives quick. Sometimes they were made from stone. Stone, bone handle, different things. Now, here's the way you do this. I got knots in there just a second. It won't draw through itself. To tie itself down, I'm going to use a bow knot or a slip knot at the end, and you pull it back through itself. Basically, is all it is.